as much grief as he gives me, and he was just a little kid, but he was Fast Eddie, I will tell you that. Eddie, Tammy, why don't you come on up here? You can come up here. I just love doing this. You know, as much grief. I just hate, this is bugging me. Now I got to be serious a little bit. As much stuff as he's thrown at me, but seriously, I have known Eddie close to 40 years. That is amazing. You know what's amazing is when you know somebody so well, and yet you still consider them an example. You can still learn from them. And Eddie, you are one of those people. You're amazing. And I got to tell you, we have some of the hardest working pastors that I've ever met. I have traveled to a lot of churches. And Eddie's got an amazing ability. Uncanny is the word. It's when he decides to do something, and we'll all be in agreement, it's impossible. There's not enough time, there's not enough people, there's not enough money, there's not enough effort. But if he's decided that's what we're going to do, Tammy, it always works. It always comes out. And it's like, and I learned a long time ago when he was youth pastor that just don't stand in the way of him. We're going to get it done. It's going to happen. And it always works. And I'm just amazed that, you know, it's hard enough to get a different message every Sunday. Don't we have some awesome messages? And not only do we have awesome messages, we have videos that go with it. We have themes. We have stuff that's going on. And and I'll tell you what it is. His desire is to make the most lasting impact of the gospel in your life that he possibly can. And we can remember. I remember I got T-shirts that say I'm a witness. Anybody remember that? You know, how many have we learned? We can remember those because there was a theme, there was a video, there was something that triggered in our mind and it penetrated into our heart. And that is, his heart is to get the gospel into us. He'd like all of us to live a champion life. He would like every one of us. It's not just a cliche. It's just not a saying. His heart is, what can I teach you? Where can I take you? How can I get you from here to there? And I'll tell you, because we have these discussions, what you're hearing was started 3 months earlier. Where do we want the church to go? What is God taking us? Where are we supposed to be? How are we supposed to be prepared? How are we going to get there? And there's a planning to get us to there. And it just amazes me. I'm the kind of guy that, I heard it last night. Let's teach it tomorrow. And Pastor Eddie is, no, we're going to save this. It's like the song we've been singing. We're going to move forward. 9 months ago, we got the song. When did we start singing it? When we first started doing our anniversary. And, you know, we have a gift for you. You want to say something? No, you told me you didn't have anything to say, so I'm sorry. I prepared, and you said no.
You know, I just want to, you know, you guys see them all the time doing. You know, they're just doing. And you see them working, you see them making things happen, you see them preaching, you see them, you know, just overseeing you. But let me tell you, we see the behind-the-scenes stuff. We see the stuff that is away from the crowd. And when you only show family and the type of people that we have relationship with them with. And, you know, I can remember when they moved in with us when you guys first came down and just knowing, I know you did do that, didn't you? And just knowing that...
I came to work in my bathing suit then, too.
Eddie prowls the house at night because he's prays for you. Yeah. And when he's at times and pulls away and he's in his swimming pool off in a corner, he prays for you. Pastor Tammy, when she's in her bedroom and, you know, no, don't go in, don't touch that door, you know, which is a regular thing because she's spending time seeking God because she's praying for you. She's praying for what God has. And that friend of destiny that was talked about this morning. We have known them for so many years. And you know us as well as all of you could go to church and choose whatever pastor that you would like. Really, you feel that you have that choice. We would follow no one else because of what God has put inside of them. And I don't know if you remember this, Mark, but about a year before, Pastor Tammy and Eddie came and said that they had heard from God. I can remember Mark saying to me, because there was a man when we got ready to move once that said, if you could go anywhere you would like, where is it that would be? Well, I can remember at this time being down here in the desert, and we were feeling a real strong connection of that there was some things going on here. And Mark said to me, if you could have it, whatever you want, what would you choose? But sometimes you just have to ask that question to articulate it, to even be able to identify it. And I remember we both said, we would have Tammy and Eddie move down here and start a church. And that was probably at least a year before. Now, I'm not going to tell you we heard this thing from God and God told us and then we just, that's not what happened. You know, when a seed is just in your heart and you speak out of your mouth and you identify, if I could have my heart's desire, that's how I would paint it. And, you know, we would just drop a little, you know, the desert would be really good for you guys. But
and how many times did he tell us no?
He said no. They both said no every time. However, only because we knew they had to hear from God. Mind you, I'm not telling you we had heard from God. What I'm telling you is that there was a seed, and we just were like, could it be possible? And they heard from God. It had to be the right timing, it had to be, God had to orchestrate it. And we are so thankful. I wanted to say about Pastor Tammy, the fact that they pull themselves aside and pray, which many of you don't even see, and it is all the time. That is their lifestyle. The discernment, and I know many of you have seen that this woman has, is absolutely unbelievable. And we have the talks that are behind the scenes. And I hear her say things that this is what's going on. This is happening there. We have to be careful about, pray about this. You know, look out for this. And I will tell you the discernment is sharp because of the hours that they both spend before God on your behalf. Amen.